welcome back to another episode of the Bulletproof Hygiene podcast. Today I have the great honor of interviewing Dr. Lisel Balk, one of our incredible GPs at the Spodak Demo Group, about what it means to be a real-life Instagram influencer and a medical professional while also having a life. And before we get to the meat and potatoes, I want to give her a brief introduction and give her the opportunity to kind of tell us about her personal and professional journey. So this is what I know about you, Dr. Lisel, in a nutshell. I'm going to only give the bullet points, and then I want you to kind of elaborate if you don't mind.
Okay.
So I know that you earned your DMD, summa cum laude, from the University of Pennsylvania School of Dental Medicine. Yeah. And that was after receiving your BA, summa cum laude, from the University of Pennsylvania also. And I know that you're an active member of the ADA and Penn Alumni Association. And you've been practicing general dentistry now for 9 or 10 years.
I would say 10 at this point.
Yeah, 10. With the last 3 years, prior to Spodak, practicing in Boston. And I also know that Boston Magazine recognized you in their top dentist issues for 3 consecutive years, which was 2017, 2018, and 2019, before you parted ways with the Boston area and came to the much more warm and tropical area of South Florida. So doctors receiving this distinction were voted by their peers, which I think is pretty incredible too. So congrats on that. But I know that there's a lot more to your story, so we can start wherever really you want. I want to hear, if you don't mind, about kind of your family life, personal interests, but also kind of your journey and how you started your trajectory to becoming the dentist and the person that you are today.
I sound like such an overachiever.
You are. You are. You summa cum laude at UPenn.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for having me on here. It's really an honor. I value you as a professional, as a colleague, and also as a friend. So I really feel blessed to be on here. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to share and to help hopefully inspire others who are in similar positions or trajectories, just to do the damn thing.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. I guess to start, so I've been at Spodak for June will be 2 years. And my husband and I moved from Massachusetts in 2020, April Fool's Day, April 1st. Happy COVID. And that's when I started looking to work with you guys, and I started in June. I am a mom. I have 2 lovely kids, Dante and Aurora. Dante will be 5 in May, and Aurora just turned 3. She's a 3-nager. She's 3 going on 15.
She definitely is.
I have a very hardworking husband. He's an emergency physician, so our schedules are very random. And then I have 2 cats. I have to talk about the cats. I have 2 cats, Binks and Luna, who also take up some time. What else goes on?
They're also 3-nagers.
No, Binks is a grown man at this point. Binks is a grown man. Luna is like a teenager. She destroys things. But can we curse on here? We can curse on here?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes.
She destroys shit. Yeah. And then I recently decided that I did not have enough on my plate, so I teach Zumba. So here we are. Yeah.
Yes, and I can personally attest to the fact that the Zumba class is great cardio, and it is the hardest Zumba class I've ever taken. And I used to do Zumba all the time. I did it for like a year straight, a few times a week, and it was the most challenging class. And I made the mistake in your class of like going full ham the first like 3 or 4 songs and realizing I was winded.
Yeah.
And there's a whole like 35 minutes left. So I learned my lesson the hard way the first time, but it was a great class. Great class. For being such an overachiever. So can you tell me a little bit about how you grew up, kind of how your life, your childhood, early adulthood kind of shaped your want or inspired, or how you became inspired to become a dentist and what made you choose this profession? I've heard your story before, I know, but I want everyone else to kind of hear your story and how this all evolved for you.
Okay, yeah. So I'm born and raised in Trinidad and Tobago. And I am from a single parent home. So my mom raised me by herself. I have no siblings. I think in a way that, and I mean this in the most loving fashion, that made her very hard on me because she wanted the best for me. And the thing is about Trinidad, if you don't study hard, if you don't make yourself something, you're not going to get anywhere. It's not like the States where you live, you go to school. You go to school depending on how well you do. So if you do badly, then you go to a bad school and then you don't get anywhere. So I feel like from the beginning, I had that drive instilled in me from my mom to be like, look, you have to do well. You have to study. You can't, why'd you get 98%? What about the other two? Like, I mean, it sounds crazy, but she really instilled in me that drive to succeed and that drive to always try and be my best self. That's what I try and instill in my kids as well. And then I moved from Trinidad to the States for undergrad. So I moved in 2005 and I did my undergrad and then I did my dental school. I decided I wanted to do dentistry. I always wanted to be in medicine. I actually wanted to be a pediatrician when I was very young. And then as I got older, I realized I couldn't do that. No disrespect, but I couldn't see kids all day. I love kids, but to see kids all day, I think would have been stressful on me. So at 14, I got braces, which, we all got braces. And I thought to myself, I'm like, this is really cool. You could change people's smile. It looks fun. It's like, artistry, it's science. And you can have a good quality of life because I knew that I always wanted to have a family. And I would have loved to be a surgeon, but their quality of life doesn't appear to be good. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a surgeon, but from what I see on Grey's Anatomy, their quality on life doesn't appear to be, it doesn't appear to be, basically bendy. Like it doesn't appear to be flexible.
Right.
So dentistry was the way to go. So I decided, all right, I'm going to be an orthodontist, right? Get to dental school. I'm like, orthodontist is boring. I'm a periodontist. No, I don't want to place implants all day. And I said, I like everything. I want to do general dentistry. So that's the track I went on. Penn was interesting because at Penn, they really want you to specialize. They want you to do a GPR. They want you to do a AGD, Why aren't you specializing? I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, I know I need to learn more, but I feel ready to go out in the world and work. So that's what I did. And all my instructors are like, what the hell are you doing? Why aren't you going to do a GPR? I'm like, because. Well, why isn't dental school 5 years then? Did you not teach us enough stuff?
Right. Yeah.
Which they didn't take kindly to that. But, I went in the working world. I started off at a DSO, which I feel like many people do. And it's actually something I do recommend because it lets you get your feet wet. And then I practiced and I learned through practice. I messed up, I learned, and then I took CEs. I got better. And even now, like you're always learning, you're always improving by the CEs and through other dentists. But, that's what happened.
And that's what happened to you. And
That
here we all are.
That was it.
So can you tell me kind of what initiated the move? I don't remember actually this part. What initiated the move from Massachusetts to South Florida? Like what prompted that and what kind of inspired you to end up at Spodak Dental Group?
Yeah, I don't like being cold.
Oh, okay. That's a good enough reason. I mean, as an anemic and Floridian, I completely understand that.
Yeah, what it was too? It was more I just wasn't happy. I just wasn't happy in Massachusetts. I don't know why. For the longest time we were there, I wasn't happy. And we thought we would live there forever. Dan's parents, my husband's Dan's parents are from Massachusetts. We moved to their town. We bought a house. We thought it would be our forever house, beautiful house. I missed the house. But then we had our kids and I was like, man, these kids can't do anything. They have to bundle up. They have to, they can't play outside. They're stuck indoors. What do you do? It's cold. I just couldn't take it. I said, Dan, let me see if I can even get my license. to work in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So to get my license, I had to study and do a jurisprudence exam. And then it's insane. I had to prove I had been working for 5 years.
Oh,
and
wow.
I had to give the initials and procedures of every single patient I saw for 5 years.
What?
Yeah. I literally shipped boxes to the licensure people. And then I got
my gosh.
insanity. I got my license. You know what Dan had to do?
What? Sign a paper and start working?
Yeah, Dan had to pay money. That was it, right? I always joke that Dan always has the easy end of the stick, but it's like I had to literally cut myself open and give blood, and Dan's like, I'll just sign this check, and here you go. Here's my license, But anyway, so I got my license, and Dan looked into getting his, and he's like, oh, I can get my license. Then I said, well, let's go look at houses. Let's go check out the area. Let's make sure like this is something we actually want to do. So we came down in January 2020, and we just fell in love with it. We fell in love with the area, and we said, this feels right to us, because even though he's from Massachusetts, he loves being outdoors. He's very chill. You know him.
Yeah.
So
yep.
He fits in here. I feel like we both fit in here way better than Massachusetts. Yeah. Nothing against people from the Northeast, nothing against you, but we personally fit in better in this kind of environment. We like being able to ride our bikes outside, go rollerblading. We feel like we live a healthier lifestyle. It's just, we're just happier. And then for me, I can travel home easier, even though I haven't because of COVID. But right. I can travel home in 3 hours.
Oh, yeah.
It's easy.
From here. So it's so really, really funny, the last few things you said. One of the major takeaways that I have for anyone pursuing a career in the medical industry is, one, just think of the lack of reciprocity between states. If you think you're going to move around, don't be a dentist. Be an emergency room physician. Lesson number 1.
They are needed everywhere.
The second thing is, it's so funny that you just talked about Massachusetts and kind of like how you weren't super thrilled about being there and living there, because the next kind of segment of this is about that. And it's one of the reasons why I had an initial kind of connection with you, because I thought you were such a real person. So I remember when we met and started to get, just wait. I remember when we met and started really getting to know each other. I, was then big on Instagram and was doing a lot of interviews and like kind of interviewed you before we were kind of closer friends like we are now. And I was really intrigued when I talked to you for a lot of reasons. And the main reason being, you're very down to earth. You're a very down to earth person for, a person who has incredible success and a beautiful family and like a lot of the things that you do. I thought that was really cool. And I really connected well with that and resonated with me. So after moving here from Massachusetts, I just remember you endearingly calling your former statesmen massholes.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm laughing so hard. I'm laughing so hard because I know you so well now. And it was just so funny hearing that come out of your mouth, because that was really when I was like, oh, we're going to get along, because you were essentially making the distinction that you are not one of them. And it was great. And we had like a good laugh about it. And I just loved your humility, your sense of humor, and your realness. And then we continued and kind of like digressed from there.
I feel like anyone who's from Massachusetts watching this knows.
Yeah.
They know. Like, it's no offense. They know.
Yes.
They know.
They know.
You know.
I'm sure they know that they are loved and they are the exception to the rule, and not everyone falls into that category. It was just a funny thing that you said, and I remember it.
No. I'm glad I could woo you that way.
Definitely would. Some other things that I think helped us to click and that really resonated with me were some of your hobbies and the things you like to do for fun. So I loved hearing, we're gonna get to that. I loved hearing about some of them, because I saw your mom life and your family life, and then almost immediately saw that you were also like a happy, fun loving, and even like a sexy person, and you were like proud about that. So the reason this was so interesting is because it seemed to me that once people enter a healthcare profession, there's like a certain stigma that comes along with also being seen, for instance, on social media in a bikini, or posting something real on Instagram, or publicly having cocktails and then running into a patient. It's almost like when you're a kid and you see your teacher at the grocery store. Like, they're just not allowed to be real people until you accidentally see them being a person in real life, and then it's undeniable, and you've got to make a decision as to whether or not it's like okay with you. And I'm bringing this up for a specific reason, because I know that you and I share a lot of similar thoughts about being a professional and having a personal life and finding the balance and being able to be a real person and have real, struggles and real relationships and real things in your life and have real fun, and also go to work and do an excellent job and take excellent care of your patients and be a real professional. Do you remember, I'm sure you do, about 2 years back when a certain medical journal ended up retracting an article that called some social media posts potentially unprofessional? That's a quote. After, and it was after, outraged health professionals flooded Twitter with photos of themselves posing in bikinis and holding alcoholic drinks. And the hashtag, hashtag #medbikini quickly trended in July of 2020 after this journal, which was the Journal of Vascular Surgery, posted the article titled "Prevalence of Unprofessional Social Media Content Among Young Vascular Surgeons." And the article specifically mentioned photos that included provocative posing in bikinis and swimwear and holding or consuming alcohol. And then, many medical professionals argued that the contents targeted women and highlighted the sexism problem in the medical field. I remember when this article came out, and it was specifically regarding, I think, vascular surgeons. And clearly I'm not a vascular surgeon, I'm not a doctor, but I was like, man, that's interesting to see on paper in a quote unquote research article. And I know what my reaction was, but I'm wondering, when this article came out, like, what was your reaction to it?
Does anybody talk about, the guys who are posting shirtless at the gym? No.
Right.
No. And I mean, you don't have to take a picture of yourself in a shirtless, you don't have to take a shirtless picture of yourself at the gym. But what are you going to wear on the beach? Do you wear leggings on the beach?
Mm-hmm.
Do you wear like a burqa on the beach? No, it's not a big deal. And I mean, I think for me as well, growing up in a country where your skin is celebrated, we have carnival. We don't care about being naked. We don't care. Like, it's not like a sexual thing. It's, you go to the beach, you wear a swimsuit, it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
You make things what you want to make things. And I think that if a doctor, a dentist, a surgeon, whoever, you want to post a picture of yourself in a bikini, you look damn good doing it, do it. Who cares? It's not like you're going to practice surgery in the bikini. There's a time and place for everything.
Right.
And your personal social media is exactly that. It's your personal social media.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of professionals, dentists, especially because I follow a lot of dentists on Instagram who do post pictures in themselves on bikinis, and they look amazing. I know a lot of guy dentists who post themselves working out. They look great. Like, I think what is important is that we need to remember your profession isn't everything that you are. You have a life. You're a person first. You're a person. Your profession is what you do in this life, but it's not entirely who you are.
Right.
And I mean, there is a certain level of decorum you have to maintain, of course. It's like, you're not gonna, hopefully, and I mean, if you are, I'm still no judgment, but I wouldn't advise you to post like spread eagle photos of like, okay, like there's a line.
Right.
But I personally don't see anything wrong with, hey, I'm on a beach, I'm in a bikini. Like, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
It's more like, here's my life outside of work. It's not about the bikini or about you, in whatever attire that you're in. It's like, this is, sharing the experience of your life appropriately. That's a part of it.
Well, and
It's
to
part of
be
your
honest with
experience.
you, I personally feel that sharing your life with others actually helps you be a better professional, because it helps your patients see you as a person and not as just this daunting figure. And that's what I try and do with my social media. I try and ensure that people can also see me as a person. So they see little snippets of my life. I don't post, like, if I post my kids, I don't post their faces because, just for their privacy. But I post things that I think people can relate to. That way they see me as a person, they feel more comfortable with me, and they don't just see me as like a robot gonna do their, crown, or gonna do their, dentistry. They can connect with you more because they
Yeah.
have things they can talk to you about.
Yeah, I want to actually talk to you about that. So that being said, like I know that and we're going to actually dive into this a little bit more, like on a deeper level in a few minutes. But like that being said, you are actually a real life Instagram influencer with upwards of, I know, more than 40,000 followers at this point. And you post, pictures of you in workout attire and bikinis, holding yoga poses, holding cats, holding candles. There are even, I know that you know where I'm going with this. There are even a few of you posing on a pole. So we can circle really back to the realm of influencing, because I definitely want to help others understand what it takes to be a successful professional influencer in dentistry. But first, I want to elaborate a little bit on the pole. So anyone who knows you well will come to know that you used to be a competitive pole dancer.
Let's make sure that is known, that it was competitive pole dancing and not in a club. Not that I'm judging anyone who decides to go in a club, but it was basically gymnastics on a pole.
Right.
Let's make that known. It wasn't in a club for dollars.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good to know, but I would love you either way. And I think it's becoming very, very widely acceptable to do like pole workouts and things. So, your close friends, I know that this is something that you were very involved in, that it was like a health thing, a workout for you, and that you loved dancing competitively. So can you tell us about what that is and how you came to become a competitive pole dancer? And if that plays a role in your life now still, what does that look like?
Okay. So when did I start poling? Let me see, maybe like 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And I just fell in love with it. I love dancing. I have a dance background. I grew up dancing. And if I could, like, my dream would be to just be a dancer or be on a sitcom, because I think I'm funny.
Mm-hmm.
But, to be a dancer. And I love dancing on the pole because it's like gymnastics. You feel like you're flying. And it's also like it just empowers you. It really empowers you, because you think to yourself, man, the first time you start, you're like, I could never, climb the pole.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do it and you're like, go me. Then you're like, I can never do this trick. Oh, I did it. Go me. It's like gymnastics.
Yeah, right.
When I moved to Massachusetts and I had my kids, I didn't do it as much because I didn't have the time. But I do feel that now, teaching the Zumba, I mean, you went to my class. Like, the Zumba I do is not like, ma, 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 ma. It's like you get, in tune with yourself.
Yes.
So I do feel like it definitely resonates, and it's so funny because one of the students in the class, she's like, I can't move my body like that. I'm like, girl, have a glass of wine, go practice in the mirror, and you'll get it. Like, you'll be fine, but I believe in women empowerment.
Yeah.
Embrace your body, like, love your body, and just accept who you are and be proud of yourself. And that's how pole dancing made me feel. And that's how, like, teaching the Zumba students makes me feel, because we're just dancing and we're having a good time. That's what it is,
Mm-hmm. Do you still do any competitive dancing?
No, unfortunately, no. I cannot fit that into my schedule. I can't.
Which I understand, because you are many, many things and wearing many, many hats right now.
Lots of hats. Yeah. But hopefully one day, to get back, I'd love to get back into it.
Maybe I would love to too. We should do team pole dancing. That would be fun.
I think it'd be a good bonding activity. I could think of some people who would like to do it in their office.
For sure.
Yeah.
Dr. Dudley.
Yep.
She's being called out.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying too.
So I wanted to ask you if there's ever been a time in your career that you've kind of shared this information, like if you shared that you used to competitively pole dance, or you shared a bikini picture, you shared something with another professional or someone in healthcare and felt judged by them or gotten like a little bit of that passive stigma? Has there ever been a time that you felt that way?
You know what? To be honest, no, but you know me, and you know that I'm very, like, I don't just talk. I'm very
Mhm.
selective with information that I share. So I think I internally screened people before I told them, which in itself says something, that I felt that I had to do that.
Yeah.
People that I told, they were like, wow, that's so cool. But I already screened them and I
Right.
knew that they wouldn't judge me. And they were females. Like, I feel like if I had told a guy that, it would have been different
Yeah.
because they automatically revert to sexualizing it. And it wasn't that at all. Even even on my Instagram now, sometimes I get messages that are not appropriate. And it's like, first of all, you all know I'm married. You all know I have kids. Like, relax. Don't be thirsty. And it's like, okay, I'm doing a split by my pool. Like, what do you like? Stop. So I think people just like to sexualize things.
Right.
That's what I think. And it's just, it is what it is.
So what other things do you like to do for fun?
I like baking. Yeah, I like baking. It relaxes me a lot. So baking and decorating. I haven't baked for the office in a while. I need to do that.
Mhm.
Baking, decorating the stuff. I spend a lot of time playing with the kids, trying to play with the kids, but I have a lot of mommy guilt too because I feel like I don't spend enough time with the kids. The Instagramming takes up a lot of time, but you know what? This is not the question. You asked what I do for fun. So the Zumba, I do. You know what I do, Brittany? Sometimes I just get stuck in a YouTube rabbit hole and I listen to old music that I used to love
Yeah.
back in the day.
And
And
you
then
watch
I
the
also,
music videos?
what?
You watch the music videos?
Yeah, the other
Yeah.
night I watched Chingy right there.
Yeah. I love that.
Right there. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, and then sometimes I get stuck in a Golden Girls YouTube rabbit hole.
Okay.
You watch the Golden Girls?
Never, never once. We'll
All right,
have
okay,
to we'll have to put that on the bucket list. We'll do that. We'll do that.
we'll do that.
Let's do it together. You can help me.
Spending time with friends
Mhm.
like yourself,
Mhm.
and drinking. There's a lot of drinking.
It's great. Well, tell us about your beer tap.
So yeah, Dan and I built a summer kitchen, and with the summer kitchen, we said we had to have a beer tap, and we got this idea from another one of our friends. They live close to us, and they're actually dentists as well. So I don't know if this says anything about dentists and alcohol, but anyway, um, they have a beer tap, and we thought it was so cool. So Dan and I love beer. So we put in a beer tap with 2 taps. So we always have 2 beers on tap. So right now we have Blue Moon and we have Le Fin du Mont, which is a Belgian triple, which is amazing. Yes, which I just finished my 2nd glass of.
Oh, good for you. Good for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So on the influencer end of things, tell us how and when your kind of Instagram journey began and what inspired you to post the content that you're choosing to post each day. Like,
Okay.
what did that
Well,
evolution look like for you?
this shit has blown up compared to like what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. So it's so funny because I remember I was talking to Rodney. Remember Rodney?
Mhm.
Dr. Rodney.
Mhm.
And I was like, Rodney, this Instagram shit is so like stupid, right? And like, I could never do that because I said, I eat my words now. I'm like, I feel like it's so self-involved, like all you do is just post pictures of yourself, and blah, blah, blah. Like, who cares? Look at me now.
I love it. I love it.
Right?
I think I remember a few of those conversations actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I decided, I'm like, oh, let me try, grow my Instagram. And I decided to do it because I wanted to reach patients. Because, part of our practice model is you have your own little pod, and yes, you get new patients from the overall practice, but you also have to hustle yourself. right? And this is actually something Dr. Craig and I want to podcast about, which is like entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to hustle. You don't have to, but you should. And I said, well, let me try and hustle with Instagram. So I started off planning, okay, how am I going to do this? I talked to Gabe, and Gabe said, well, come up with a grid. So you want to have like 3 columns, and you want to do like 1 column this, 1 column this, 1 column this. So I said, all right, fine. My first column will be like selfies, but somehow I tie it into dentistry.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one is before and afters of cases. And then the third one is like yoga, poses, inspirational, positivity, blah, 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 right? And that's what it is. And that's what it became. And, you know, people, they get really technical and they're like, oh, you have a color scheme. And I'm like, no, not really. I just like bright colors. Like, I'm Trinidadian. Like, I like bright colors.
Mm-hmm.
So it automatically lends itself to that. Like all the filters and stuff that I use, the way that I edit the photos, it lends itself to bright coloration.
Right.
And I think a main thing that people forget with the Instagram, you have to give love to get love. So I spend time going onto the bokeh pages, the dowry pages, looking at people and liking their stuff, commenting on their stuff. And then in turn, they like my stuff and they follow my stuff, because you're not going to post a bunch of stuff and people are just going to automatically follow you. It's not going to happen. They have to know you're there.
Right.
I reach out physically to people, like on, you know, not physically, but on the messages. And I say, hey, you know, do you guys do any deals for, you know, people in the community? I would love to promote your product. I do that myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I've gotten some of the promotions I've gotten. My favorite one, I have to say, is that blanket. I got like a weighted blanket.
Aww.
The best. Nuzzy blanket. It's the best.
It.
I can't sleep without it. But I reach out to people. So it is a lot of hard work. It's a second job.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah, I wanted to ask you, like, how many hours a week would you say all of the networking, all the posting, the planning, the stories, all the things take? Like, if you could guesstimate.
I would say at least 10. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot.
Okay.
It is a lot for a 7-day week. You know, an hour plus each day.
Mm-hmm.
Making sure you have the picture, thinking, oh crap, I posted 2 days ago. I have to figure out something else. Let me come up with the caption. How do I link a picture of me and my cats to dentistry? I don't know, you know, which, listen, that one, I really like the picture. I was just about to post, like, I have no caption for this, but I like the picture. But, you know, you try and link it. What positive message do I send today? You know, what did I say 3 weeks ago? I can't say that. You know, you have to think about it.
Right. And that being said, like, what is it? So you said that you hoped to connect to patients and grow your patient base kind of with probably with a specific like clientele, but what would you say like the mission is of your page other than that? Or is that the mission?
The mission is to educate patients on what dentistry can do for you. You know, why it's important, what can it do? A lot of people don't know, hey, my smile, I hate it. I can't do anything about it. I'm stuck. You're not stuck. You always have options. Right. What are your options? How do I take care of my teeth? Am I seeing the dentist enough? These are tips, tricks, and I also share things from other dentists that I do follow on Instagram. I think that's important. Like, it's not, the page is not, this is my page, this is about me, blah, blah, blah. It's like, this is dentistry and I am your dentist. Here's another dentist. Here's a pediatric dentist who has tips and tricks. Here's another dentist in Washington State who has tips and tricks. Go follow them. It's about education. Mm-hmm. It's also about showing what can be achieved with the before and afters, because, like I said, people don't know what can be done until they see a photo and they're like, oh, you know, my teeth look exactly like this picture. Mm-hmm. Maybe I can do this. Right. You know, what's involved here? And then I do like the column where I share positive messages, because that's kind of my mojo. That's how I try and live my life. Thinking positively, living positively. It doesn't happen all the time. Everybody has, you know, crap days, but I think that's important, you know, try and motivate people, because, you know, I feel like being a dentist is not just dealing with someone's mouth. It's dealing with their whole psyche. You know, you're a psychologist about it.
Yep.
Like, they lie down in the chair, they lie back, and you're like, tell me about your day, you know, and they cry. because they are having a bad day and this is happening and the dog died and, you know, it's a lot and you treat the whole person.
Yep.
So I think some dentists forget that you have to treat the whole person. The mouth is attached to the person. You have to treat the whole person.
Yep.
You know, so that's what the whole page encompasses. And then, you know, pictures of the cats and the kids and what I ate.
The necessities of life.
The necessities of
family, cats, and food.
Family, cats, food, and stretch.
There you go. Very important, especially as a dentist.
It is.
How would you say, like, to this day, has your Instagram account directly affected your practice or your clientele? I know personally that you've had several like full mouth cases, like patients who want like a lot of dentistry or interested in cosmetic dentistry reach out to you specifically. So how do you think that your Instagram page has helped to advance your practice?
I think it's been wonderful. I think it's definitely brought patients. I had that lovely full mouth case that I posted. She knows who she is. You know, I told her she has a special place in my heart. She jokes that she's like, "Oh, you think I'm nuts?" I'm like, "Well, you know, in a good way."
Like, yes, but
she knows. She knows. But her transformation was amazing. That's one of my favorite cases.
Right.
She looks so good. You know,
she really does. She looks incredible. I know who you're talking about. She does look incredible. And I know that also, so in addition to your Instagram, I know that you're really good at networking, like kind of on an in-person basis in your community, and you've gotten a lot of business from that. So that's like a lot of evidence of your hustle and like your willingness to like put in the work to create the practice that you want to have.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to watch, and it's really cool for me to see like when you do get clients and you get new patients from your Instagram account, because that is like the reality of today. You know,
it is.
Yeah, it very much is.
That's
so if someone is interested in finding some level of success anywhere near the level that you have on social media and they're starting from scratch, if you could give them in a nutshell a piece of advice, what advice or direction would you give them?
Figure out what message you want to portray. Figure out your message. Don't be all over the place and be consistent. I think that is the biggest thing. Be consistent, because if you're not consistent, people are going to forget about you. If you don't post in a week, people are going to forget that you exist. You have to be consistent, and it's hard, but be in people's faces, comment on people's things, send them messages on their stories. Oh, that looks so great. Like, you know, just lift people up too, because that's what people want. Everybody wants to be lifted up, right? So just be a positive force, be consistent, and have a clear message on your page.
I love it. Is there anything else that you feel should be relayed on this topic specifically, or that you wish people knew?
About Instagram?
About Instagram, or about being a professional with a life and finding that balance, or doing it in a way that you think is appropriate and in a way that maintains your, you know, good standing, good reputation, good relationships with people.
Yeah, I would say, you know, there's so many of us who have families and who have other things going on, and we just feel like we're drowning sometimes, and that's okay. Everybody feels that way. I have days where I just feel like shit and I go cry, you know?
Yeah.
Everybody has personal struggles, but to kind of cope with it, you just put on your big girl panties and you deal. Whenever I say that, I think of like grandma panties. Like,
I did too. I totally was picturing that.
Which I love. They're very comfortable, you know. But they're very comfortable. They're comfortable. But especially if you have kids and you have to try and balance what has worked for me. And I did Instagram live with this dentist who was from Washington State the other day. Scheduling and being efficient with your time is key. So, you know, don't just sit and la-di-da and dawdle. Like, what am I going to do now? Make a plan. Think of what you have to do for the day and make a plan of how you're going to get it done. And you'll get it done. Write it down and you'll get it done. If you don't write it down, that shit is never going to get done. You have to write it down.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Well, you know, Lisel, that I absolutely adore you. You're one of my closest friends at this point, and I'm so glad to have been a part of like the I don't want to say evolution of our relationship, but really like the change in our relationship and what it started from and what it has developed into. I'm so thankful. Say that. What did you say?
When I thought you hated me, yes.
We started out a little bit distant and then we grew together. That is what our relationship looked like. But you know that I love you and adore you. And I'm very, very thankful to have had you on this episode. And there's almost like nothing better to me than someone who is just like all real. You're real at work, you're real at home, you're real on the podcast, you're real when we hang out. I just appreciate the transparency and the willingness to come as your real self and just share about the things that we just chatted about. I really appreciate your time and your support of Bulletproof Hygiene as usual. And you know, just being a doc and collaborating with our entire hygiene team and with me and doing that professionally too, like just speaks volumes about the person that you are. I do want to say to our listeners, please, if you have thoughts about what you would like to hear on the Bulletproof Hygiene podcast, go to our Mighty Network app and search Bulletproof Hygiene. And also please remember that our summit, 2022 summit, is coming up soon in Nash Vegas, Tennessee, June 3rd and 4th. It's a 2-day event with 3 different tracks, one for teen, one for hygiene, one for dentists, and you can pick and choose. You can a la carte style get the classes and the courses and the tracks that you want. So we are looking forward to seeing you all there in person in June. If you would like more information about that, go to bulletproofsummit.com, and we can't wait to see you there. Have a great week, everyone.
Thank you.